Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
Come to the Keswick Tavern in Keswick, Iowa this Friday, February 28th from 8 to midnight for live country music from Luke Fox. Luke is making his debut here in Southeast Iowa, so come out and have a great time. The Keswick Tavern is at 117 South Iron Street in Keswick, and there's no cover charge. Get your friends and have a fun time this Friday night. Live country music this Friday night from 8 to midnight with Luke Fox at the Keswick Tavern. The Brooklyn Opera House in Brooklyn, Iowa presents Jordan Beam with Sam Roberts in concert Saturday, March 1st at 8 p.m. Tickets are just $12.50 in advance, $17.50 at the door. Jordan Beam is the Iowa Music Awards Country Music Artist of the Year for 2024 and the 2023 Midwest Country Music Organization's New Artist of the Year. It's Jordan Beam with Sam Roberts at the Brooklyn Opera House Saturday, March 1st at 8 p.m.
Wrestling Radio.
Welcome everybody to another edition of Shotgun Wrestling Radio. I'm your host Zach. Take us in just a little bit. We're going to be joined by Matt Miller of Social Experiment Wrestling to talk about their debut show coming up this Saturday, February 22nd in Redland, Iowa. But before we do that, I want to get into our independent wrestling calendar that we're going to start every show from now on with here on Shotgun Wrestling Radio. We got a lot of shows, a lot of great shows between the end of February, beginning of March, so let's get right into it, folks. Social Experiment Wrestling making their debut here in the state of Iowa, Saturday, February 22nd at Grumpy's Bar and Event Center in Redland, Iowa. 6 p.m. bell time. They got Rhino and Heath Slater on the card, so again, a very, very stacked show for their debut show that we're going to find out more about here on the other side of this. Also, Saturday, February 22nd, at the Majestic Moon in Waterloo, Eminent Wrestling Alliance is making their Waterloo debut at 6 p.m. Now let's go over to March. Yes, March is just 2 weeks away, folks. So Saturday, March 1st, Eminent Wrestling Alliance is going to be at the Newton VFW Post 1655 in Newton, Iowa at 6 p.m. Also, Saturday, March 1st in Algona, Iowa, Absolute Pro Wrestling makes their return to Algona as they are going to be at the Algona VFW Post 2541, and bell time is at 6 p.m. And again, if you want to be featured on the Independent Wrestling Calendar, all I can say is make sure your Facebook event page is updated. That's where I get all the information. Otherwise, you can send us a message on the Shotgun Wrestling Radio Facebook page, and we will be sure to get your event in our event listings. So until then, let's get right to the show. Welcome back, everybody, to this edition of Shotgun Wrestling Radio. As I had said in the independent calendar section of the show, we have a very special guest from a very new promotion happening here in Iowa. It's coming up this coming Saturday, February 22nd. Yes, it's not March yet. I'm already kind of looking ahead to March. But February 22nd, Redland, Iowa, Social Experiment Wrestling. And from Social Experiment Wrestling, I have Mr. Magnum Matt Miller. Matt, welcome to the show, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's a great day to be here. Thanks for having me on, Zach.
And man, you want to talk about coming into a really busy, a really packed Iowa wrestling scene. Social Experiment Wrestling, dude, is coming in with a banger of a first show.
Yeah, there's just so much talent on this first card, and honestly, it's just amazing to see how quick this all came together and all the names that are involved in it. So I'm really excited to see what's going to shake out, but honestly, it's just more of an opportunity for the Magnum management team to get out there and find the newest and brightest talent, you know?
And again, some of the biggest talent that we have that has been announced for this show is, of course, the tag team of Rhino and Heath Slater. I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than to get two icons in wrestling like that for your very first show.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that we're helping out the senior citizens. I think it's fantastic that we're doing that for them. But really, the stars of that match are going to be the 319, Jay Wesley and Ethan Everhart. Have you seen those guys? I'm just saying,
yep.
I don't like to put words in people's mouths here, but I think you said that they're Magnum material, all right? That's all I'm saying. I think those guys are going to be great. But it's going to be great to see Rhino and Heath, and hopefully the kids are doing well and everything, and yeah, it'd be great. But honestly, yeah, it's nice to have them, but the real stars there are the 319.
Now let's kind of talk a little bit about you and how you got involved here with Social Experiment. Again, brand new promotion. So how did you kind of get your foot in the door here? You know, I've heard a lot of really good things about upper management, from everybody else that's been involved with the promotion. You guys got some really great people working behind the scenes. David Sherini is going to be the ring announcer for the event. I believe Clint Dye from Tag Team Photography is going to be down there taking photos. Austin Bayless is renting you guys the ring and everything too. And yeah, how did you get, kind of involved with Social Experiment?
Well, I actually used to be a comedian. I kind of stepped down. I was actually too good at comedy, just wasn't a challenge anymore. And, I watched the wrestling every week and I was looking at these guys. And of course, I'm kind of past my prime to be a wrestler. I could still do it. I have a six pack. I won't show it right now, but I do have one. But I was like, how can I get involved in the business? What can I do? So I started up the Magnum management team. And my goal is to bring guys up and they're going to win me championships and give me money. And so that's kind of the gist of what I want to do there. If that makes sense. I could slow it down a little bit if that got a little out of control, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, for sure, man. And again, with the other interesting aspect of Social Experiment Wrestling, there's already quite a few shows announced for this year, and it's not all Iowa. They're kind of all hitting the four corners of the state almost. I mean, we got shows in Albert Lee, Minnesota. I mean, it's just really kind of going all over the place here as far as, just really hitting the ground running.
Yeah, no, it is wild all the places. Yeah, going all the way up into Wisconsin and everything. Hopefully they let me back into Wisconsin. We had some issues with warrants there for a while, but I'm excited to be back in Wisconsin. And yeah, it's just crazy the scope of how it's all came together. And again, it's just a lot of hard work behind the scenes, mostly by people like me. Mostly just actually me, honestly. Yeah, there's some other guys, but I'm doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. But no, it is just amazing. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, again, not very often you see this from a debuting company. I mean, a lot of people are kind of slow, and you guys just boom. I mean, you guys get Heath Slater and Rhino for your first show. You guys get people, like you said, like the 319 tag team who've really made a name for themselves across the Iowa wrestling scene. Ethan Everhart, Jay Wesley, probably their biggest test to date while they're going to be going up against Rhino and Heath Slater this coming Saturday.
Yeah, I am going to be excited and I'm going to be ringside for that match. I'm going to step in, do a little commentary, check some things out. And there's some other great matches on this card, too. We got the scramble for the Red X Championship. Yes. That is going to be wild. A scramble on the first show to get our first champion. This is going to be insane.
Yeah, who doesn't love a good scramble match? Anytime you've seen a scramble match live, it literally does feel like a scramble. I mean, everybody's all over the place. Everybody's all over the place, and depending on what the venue is, I've seen guys jump off some of the highest points of venues. And yeah, scramble matches, man, that's a great that if it were me, that would be probably the match that I would put at match one, just to kind of get the crowd really fired up for what's to come for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited to see that. And then also Mike Hartenbauer, we're going to hear from him since he's been injured. I know that he's been out for a while now, so I heard that he's going to come back and say some stuff. Another guy that I'm like, Magnum material. That guy is a beast.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead, man, and we were just talking about scramble match. Let's go ahead and run down the list of competitors that are in that scramble match. We have Edward Draven, Calvin Kelly, Warwick Steffens, Louisiana Hot Boy Kaizayan. Is that how you say it?
You know what? Your guess is as good as mine on that one. I'm sorry.
Jay Wesley pulling double duty, and Anakin Murphy in this scramble matchup. Man, again, the other cool thing about this too, for me personally, somebody who's been involved in the Iowa wrestling scene for quite some time, I think I've only heard of one of these guys. So this is a lot of new talent for folks here in the state of Iowa.
Yeah, no, it's the Red X Championship. The X stands for Respect, Equality, and Diversity. Sorry, tripped over my words there. The Red X means respect, equality, diversity. They're real big on that. And so it's really great that we're shoving all these younger guys or unknown talents or up-and-comers, not necessarily unknown, of course. These guys are known all over the place where they're from. But putting them in this situation to where one of them's going to walk out with the title. And I'm a wrestling guy. I'm looking at these names. I cannot tell you who's going to win that match. There's just no way. There's a lot of guys there. It could be anybody. But it's going to be interesting to see Jay Wesley pulling double duty, man. I don't know if I would want to face Rhino after going through a scramble match.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I was just thinking that I was kind of looking through the card here and it's like, ooh, Jay's pulling double duty. And, that's always kind of a bit of an Iron Man situation there. But again, Jay's been one of those guys. I had him on the podcast here a few weeks back. I mean, he's just one of those guys who's really putting a lot of work in. I think there's going to be great things for him to come here in the year of 2025 as he just continues to keep pressing on. And, let's keep moving on here. We also have on the very first show, which is always cool to see, a number one contender match. We have Vic Capri versus JDX. Both of these guys are really no strangers to the Iowa scene, so that's going to be fun to see those two lock it up and see who's going to be the new number one contender.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. Set everything up for the next show. I honestly could not tell you that one. It's again, there's just so many toss-ups here. Usually you look at a card and you're like, oh, that guy's probably going to win. He's been putting in the work. He's strong. He's got the look. Another match where I can't tell you. I do like Vic Capri a lot, though. I'm not going to lie. Vic Capri, if I had to pick somebody, I guess I'd say Vic Capri, but I don't know, man. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, JDX has all the talent in the world, and yeah, Vic Capri, both these guys have been around for quite some time, and that's going to be an absolute banger of a matchup. So, moving on down our list of matchups here, we got Aaron Arsenal versus Dan the Dad. And if you guys have not seen Dan the Dad, you're in for a real treat. Like, this guy is absolutely not only just funny, but he can move in the ring.
Yeah, he is the quickest moving dad I've ever seen. It is absolutely phenomenal. This guy has Chuck E. Cheese level movement speed, It's going to be really cool to see him. Another great pickup is just every time I look at this card, I'm just like, man, they're going to be there. They're going to be
there. Yeah, it's, again, like we said, very, very stacked card. Looking at what all we have announced, what would you say if somebody was going to come up to you and say, hey, why should I come Saturday to Social Experiment Wrestling in Redland, Iowa? What would be the match that you would say? And again, this isn't to kind of, I guess, pinpoint like up against anybody. What would be the match that you would say, hey, this is one you're going to watch out for? I mean, even we were just talking about Jay Wesley pulling double duty. Ethan Everhart also pulling double duty as he's also facing Jimmy Wild. And that match, man, that's going to be a hell of a matchup right there.
That is going to be, and I completely missed that on my rundown here, so I didn't realize that. Man, so both the 319 are going to have a long night, so that's going to play into it. Listen, if I had to say you're going to come to Social Experiment Wrestling, what is it that's going to bring you here? You're going to want to catch that scramble match. You're going to want to see who's going to be the first champion because it's going to set the pace for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it really will. And scramble matches, again, I know we have announced a number one contendership matchup, but let's not shy away from the fact that whoever wins that scramble match could definitely be on, Social Experiment Wrestling upper management and say, hey, maybe this person deserves another shot too. I mean, because again, you go through 5 other individuals to get to that point. I think you've kind of more than earned your shot there.
Yeah, no,